Hello there, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the news desk of NTA Channel 5 Abuja at 1. My name is Tessie Omeri and we begin with AMAC. Abuja Municipal Area Council Chairman Abdullahi Adamu Candido says his administration has been able to invest in capital projects that envision growth in the revenue generation and profile of the council. Candido stated this while inaugurating the AMAC Commercial Plaza built by his administration under the AMAC Investment and Property Development Company in Akwa Estate, Abuja. Abdullahi Ajia has details.
The inauguration of the AMAC Estate Commercial Plaza, Sabon Lugbe, barely few days to the end of the administration, Abdullahi Adamu Candido says is part of the commitment to bequeath enduring institutions, particularly for revenue generation.
If we have diverse economic institutions that belongs to AMAC or in partnership with other developmental partners, I'm convinced that in the next 10 years to come, AMAC will rub shoulder with some states. AMAC as a council do not have any business to be in poverty. AMAC as a council do not even have any business to wait for allocation on monthly basis to pay workers' salary. If we're able to do the needful to, block all the leakages, I'm sure this AMAC will be a better AMAC tomorrow.
The council using the AMAC IPDC is diversifying through its comparative advantage to create more wealth for the development of the council.
The place is already open for business. While the business is ongoing, we continue the developmental strides, because development is not one time go of a thing. You have to come, different things will be coming up and we'll now be fixing them up. We're looking at the waste to wealth projects as well. The West World project, we are in serious discussion with Hungary, and they have already...
The inaugurated plaza is one of the abandoned projects inherited by the Candido administration, with the first phase completed and open for business, and others targeted to be completed soon. Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
That this rifle belonged to our gang leader.
Among those arrested are 3 bandits reportedly making encroachments into the Abuja area, according to the FCT Commissioner of Police, Sunday Babaji. NTA News gathered that the bandits had planned to turn the Abuja-Lokoja highway into their den, but intelligence operatives were proactive and raided their camp. However, some operatives died during the onslaught against the bandits. The suspects were arrested with RPG rifles, 13 magazines and other assorted arms.
Reaffirming the commitment of the command to the fight against crime and criminality in the territory as a way of encouraging the good people of the territory not to relent in cooperating with the police, especially as touching the prompt rendition of actionable intelligence.
The command also paraded suspected killers of Terungwa Stephanie, a 26-year-old corps member who resided in City Homes Estate, Lokogoma. Late Stephanie had left her home with her 17-month-old son on April 14, 2022 and never returned. A day later, the son was recovered at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church upon a call placed through one of the paternal relatives. Investigations by the command and state CID led to the arrest of 3 suspects, namely Jennifer Sembe, Monday Simon aka Black, Solomon Abu, all residents of the Oguta Lake, Maitama area of the FCT.
We tied the girl. When we tied her, we leave her there with Jennifer, saying that she will call her boyfriend. The boyfriend will now come and she will demand money from the boyfriend. That's what I know.
So who killed the girl?
I don't. That's Jennifer.
An estranged lover of Edward could have him all to herself, especially for pecuniary benefits. In Abuja, Asabe Williams, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the divisional police officer in charge of Kubwa, Chief Superintendent of Police Abubakar Abdul Karim, says the police is constantly crime mapping with strong synergy with stakeholders to address security challenges in the FCT. He was responding to questions on the security check program called The Police on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Onotu Yakubu brings us details.
Over the course of the weekend, the police dislodged a bandit sustained onslaught against criminals making inroads into the nation's capital. DPO Abubakar Abdul Karim says the success is the result of coordinated strategies and invaluable inputs of stakeholders through intelligence as well as operational inputs by vigilantes and hunters.
They have massive landmass. Don't forget about the banditry displacement of many communities from northwest that are settling into these areas. And with that in view, part of the intelligence gathering, the anti-kidnapping units that he used together with the Destiny Hunters, local hunters, which I told you part of the local approach that is incorporated into the kinetic operations of the Nigerian police, which is yielding result. So I think on this note, even the Commissioner of Police really deserve
applaud.
Kubwa is densely populated as the largest suburb in the nation's capital. CSP Abdul Karim says his division has been able to maintain.
You understand? And really, it's paying off. Because we are always there. Once the calls are there, perhaps crime is an element, is an integral part of our society. You cannot stop it, but it's just to put off measures that are preventive and proactive, not reactionary.
And to get community members involved.
And to get the community, because that is the essence of even community policing.
CSP Abubakar assures that the police will continue to play its statutory mandate to ensure that crimes and criminality are nipped in the bud. Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
And away from security, let's talk politics. As political parties hold Congress preparatory to party primaries for the 2023 general elections, INEC FCT is interfacing with political parties, security agencies and other stakeholders on the need to play by the rules.
Of Police FCT represented while assuring of adequate security of all election activities and join political parties to put their houses in order.
Put yourselves together. Ensure that there is internal democracy in your party so that we can move together.
Other issues raised during the interaction includes the death at polling units, among other concerns.
Also, your responsibility as a citizen. When you see offenses committed, you alert the security agencies for them to make arrests. We may not be everywhere at all. So if you see anything they've committed, that's the essence of giving you lines.
INEC, however, reminds political parties of the deadline for the submission of list of candidates for the elections. Ifoma Ojinta, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5, Abuja. The news returns in just a moment. Stay tuned.
News as a commodity is our trade when it breaks in the FCT and environs. Our team of professional reporters, NTA Channel 5 Abuja News, using news to connect the grassroots people with the newsmakers and uniting the nation. We serve you the depths of news in politics, economy, education, health, security, infrastructure, even in times of emergencies. Always join our news build at 1 and 7 p.m. daily to be informed of the latest and current happenings. Our on-air personalities are the professionals you desire on the screen. NTA Channel 5 Abuja News, telling you the real news, verifiable and factual, with no room for fake news.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Now let's talk health. Do you know that anything above 140/90 is a sign that you have blood pressure, or rather is looming? Aisha is our Premier Abuja to commemorate the day.
High blood pressure or hypertension has been classified as a pandemic in Africa, with a projection that 20.1% of Nigerians' hypertensive population will increase by 2030 to 30.9%. Dr. Shawaj Damar, a consultant cardiologist at Nisa Premier Hospital Abuja, says concern is on the increasing number of blood pressure patients, especially among young people of below 30 years of age, with a critical focus on resistant hypertension.
Resistant hypertension has a serious or a direct correlation with the incident or the appearance of stroke. Most patients with stroke, if you follow their history, you see that they have resistant hypertension. There is no correlation between thinking, stress, and hypertension.
More prevalent among the black race and slightly higher among urban dwellers. Every 17th of May, countries of the world commemorate World Hypertension Day to create awareness on the need to promote and practice healthy lifestyle. In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
Residents of Trademore Estate in Lugbe are appealing to the FCT minister to halt the proposed demolition of some structures in the area. Our correspondent reports that they say they have identified the root cause of the incessant flooding and are already proffering solutions. Like the saying goes, water must find its route. So for the residents of Trademore Estate in Lugbe, it has become an annual disaster flooding for some time now as a result of structures being erected on waterways. This development has necessitated the FCT administration to earmark some structures for demolition. For the residents, their appeal is for government to look into the root causes which they have identified.
The investigation report that were made in 2014 identified where this water came from. That there is a dam at Aleta which does not have a buffer, which needed to be fixed. There are internal issues which was told to the developer to fix. The developer had already started work.
What we had is that the minister approved 23 houses. As we speak, we've been able to mark 96 plus. Where are the remaining coming from? This is what made our residents to come out this morning in fear.
They say if these efforts can be complemented by government, it will proffer a permanent solution, thereby reducing their anxiety and trauma as they appeal for more time to solve the problem.
We know it's rainy season again. We've gone through this process for years. So 6 months or 1 year will not do no harm.
While responding on the issue, the Senior Special Assistant on Monitoring and Enforcement to the FCT Minister Ikaro Atta says this notice has been on for some years now, saying it is in the interest of humanity, even though serious considerations have been given.
I think it's not true that what we're giving them is just 48 hours. We have been on it for, I think, about 2 to 3 years now. Many buildings there we are marked. We assess the situation and discover that there is the need to actually free up the area around Trademore and save lives.
He maintains that some of the structures don't have building approvals, hence there will be no compensation, calling on the rest.
Nigerians at all levels have been reminded to extend helping hands to internally displaced persons in the country. Ikechukwu Samuel of Shiloh Ward Chapel, Apo, Abuja, appeals to Nigerians when he donated food items in Abuja. Odiri Arutere has details.
Giving to the less privileged in the society does not just have spiritual benefit, but also put smiles on faces of people. Ikechukwu Samuel, through Shiloh Samaritan Foundation of the Church, stormed the Wasak IDPs camp with some packs of rice and cash to the IDPs to alleviate their sufferings. The IDPs, filled with joy and excitement, came out en masse to have their share from the gesture. The overwhelming crowd made the donor to take the remaining items and cash to Malaysian Guardian IDPs camp at Apo.
Let us work together and live with each other with love. That is my message. Please, let people gather in Nigeria and help the poor and the less privileged. Look at the children, innocent children. These are Nigerian citizens. Many stars are here. We should not look down on them. God may give me privilege to give them today, but tomorrow you don't know what will happen.
Children, some are not even here. So the children alone, they are almost 500 to 600. So I'm calling on Nigerians that we should unite ourselves. As he said, it's only God that will bless this very man.
The children at the IDPs camp were in high spirits to receive the man of God. The camp leader, Akinloye Lawal, hinted Ikechukwu Samuel of their critical. Odiri Arutere, NTA News.
And on education, in a bid to tackle book piracy in FCT schools, the FCT Education Resource Center has organized a 10th triennial book review. Hadiza Godinebune reports that the FCTA Permanent Secretary Olushade Adeshola says the administration will ensure the right books are used in FCT schools.
While declaring the 10th Triennial Book Review open, FCTA Permanent Secretary Olushade Adeshola said the FCT administration is committed to ensuring provision of efficient and quality education for all in the FCT.
Our educational curriculum must advance to meet this challenge, and that's why we should also from time to time review our books and reference and study materials to to bring them into. And this program has been sustained, accounted for the progress that has been made by our schools.
Director, FCT Education Resource Center, Nimat Abdurrahim, said any breach of the guidelines will not be tolerated as the center remains the bedrock for excellence.
Our expectation from them is nothing short of quality assessment, but we expect them to review books with all honesty and checking and they are conscious and be sure that the best out of the best titles are recommended for our students in FCT.
In terms of content, in terms of presentation, in terms of methodology, we have to constantly review these books and make sure that our books in the schools are in tune with the present demands.
The FCT administration has urged publishers and assessors alike not to compromise on the choice of textbooks that are relevant to the curriculum. Recent in edition, affordable, IT-driven, rich in exercise and practical for the benefit of both teachers and students. Hadiza Godwin Ebuni, NTA News.
Documenting artifacts, historical monuments, as well as preservation of cultural objects for posterity has been made possible through museums. In this special report, our correspondent looks at the significance of museums to humanity.
These are artifacts, monuments, and animal parts, sometimes kept for decades and centuries, for the purpose of passing them from generation to generation. And what better place to store such valuable objects than the museum?
Museums are not just established just for the fun of it. They have their value, they have their importance. And the importance can only come out if we know the various types of museum. You know, in our own case, what our own museum, we call it Museum of Natural History. And what we exhibit there are those resources that are unique to each ecological zone. Somebody can, within an hour, travel to the whole region of this country just from our museum there.
Museums serve as research grounds, even as cultural heritage can be recorded and remembered, regardless of its future. The museum at the National Park Service, Abuja, is one out of the 17 museums in the country. And a tour around the museum shows it also serves as recreational sports.
The Territarian has been here for like 10 years. In other words, we call our Territarian in the local dialect Ant Hill.
They also serve educational purpose for students and teachers.
It is very, very good for students, especially modern students, to go to a museum. They will see a lot of things because there are children that are born in the cities. They have never known anything that has to do with rural communities. So when they go to museums, when they go there, they will see a lot of things, artifacts, drawings, pictures.
Museums have remained reference point for researchers, for education purpose, and indeed for recreation. And with this year's theme, the power of museums. And if not for the power of museums, where else will I have seen the toe of an elephant and stepping on? Museums, National History Museum, Children's, Science, Arts, and so many others, adding to the body of knowledge. Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
And on Sports Minister Sunday Dare congratulates the Flying Eagles for qualifying for the finals of the WAFOB Under-20 Championship as Rafael Nadal is named the favorite to win the French Open. Wayne Dogo brings us more.